सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। This prayer says that let's all together study the subject of today. That is necessary particularly for this topic because one has, I am not qualified to teach you about egoless state until I become egoless myself, because I don't know how much time it will take for me to become egoless. So in the meanwhile, it is necessary for all of us to understand the values of egoless state. Why is it important for us? And how is it to be attained? That we learn from the teachings of the sages who have left instructions. I had the good fortune of having darshan of Bhagwan Shri Ramana Maharshi twice in my life. That at that time I was a small boy, and all that I could see is the grace. I could not take my eyes out of him. In the crowd, wherever he moved, my eyes were just looking at him. Ramana Maharshi was a sage from Tiruvannamalai, a South India station, and this person is considered one of the leading gurus, sages of that time. And my grandfather, Acharya Lakshmana Sarma, was associated with him for more than 20 years and learning personally instructions on self-realization. When you're talking about egoless state, you have to understand what is ego and why is it important in our life and how is it to be attained. And my grandfather had composed so many Sanskrit verses on the teachings of Ramana Maharshi. His Ramana Maharshi's original composition was in Tamil. That's called Ulladu Narpadu. And those verses were translated into Sanskrit, and he composed Sanskrit verses of Ulladu Narpadu, and he also wrote a book, Mahayoga. This is a book written by who? His pen name was who? WHO, because the topic is who am I? If I think that I am this body, which body? When I was a baby, I was small, I was petted by everybody. Oh, cute, how nice. And there's many people pinching me, many people lifting me. That was me at one time. And then I became a boy, fighting and enjoying all kinds of things. And as I grew up as a teenager, and then as a man, and then as an elderly man, which body am I? Whatever is changing cannot be me. It has to be something which does not change. Oh, is it the mind? Oh no, mind changes even faster. Every movement, I like this, I like that, I am scared of this, I am angry with this, I am jealous of that. All kinds of the feelings keeps on changing. Is that me? How can it be me? No. There has to be something beyond it. The Bhagavad Gita talks about the 8 energies of Krishna. Bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankaramiti yamme bhinna prakritirattada. The 8 energies of Krishna is the 5 elements of nature. Starts with Bhumi, earth, Apo is water, Analo is fire, Vayu is a wind, Kham means Akasha Tattva, the sky, ether, the space. And then these are the 5 elements which we used to deal with in nature cure, natural health science, where we believed our physical, mental, and spiritual health is one and indivisible. It cannot be. Whatever is good for physical health should be good for mental health. If it is not, then it is not good for physical health also. Whatever is good for mental health should be good for physical health also. If it is not, then it's not good for mental health also. The same is with spiritual health. Whatever is good for spiritual health should be good for the physical health and mental health. Our body, mind, and spirit is one and indivisible. So, health is the main criteria. When with health, you get to the state of reaching to a higher element. Higher the element, subtler the element. The first 2 elements, earth and water, are gross elements, and then sunlight, air, and ether are subtler element. Subtler the element, higher its potency that we say. And most of us stop with fasting. I'm doing fasting, I'm doing pranayama, I'm doing meditation, I'm doing yogasana, I'm doing running exercise, I'm eating positive food, all kinds of nature cure, natural health we've been taking care of. But we have not touched the subjects which are subtler than air. In Hindi, we call it man, buddhi, ahankar, mind, intellect, and ego. Many people have fasted for so many days, they are able to be without water for so many days. All those things, control, breath control, all those things we have been doing. But beyond that, when you try to control the mind, it goes berserk. It goes in different ways, it opposes. Don't ever listen to people who says they will teach you mind control. Never try to control the mind. But the Maharishi says, don't control the mind, observe the mind. When we observe the mind with a mantra, mantra is the door which opens the mind to allow the thoughts to flow. When we allow the thoughts to flow, then a certain file is emptied regarding this world, which we have so many thoughts and recorded in our brain. And those thoughts are released and the mind becomes empty for a short time. Again, the next files open and we think about bad of this person, good of that person, good of this deed, good, bad of government, or bad of this and that. All that bad, good thoughts keep going out. This is a process of meditation through which we remove the thoughts, empty the files, and go to a stage of emptiness, thoughtlessness. In the process of meditation, when you observe the breath, the thoughts come to a standstill for some time, and breath also comes to standstill. That state of standstill where there is breath is not working, your breathing is not working, and your thoughts are not there. Breathlessness and thoughtlessness stage that stays for a short time. With practice, you are able to prolong that time for a longer duration. This is a summary of the whole gist of egoless state. Egoless state is that state when we are not thinking about this world, there is no thought and there is no action, there is no breathing also. Those people who are not egoless, it's not that they are not breathing, but their thoughts are not in this world. The popular belief, or most of us think, that happiness can be got from this world. And when we see so many stories, I've narrated a story about my taking my son to an exhibition in Hyderabad. I When we entered the place, there are so many stalls selling their things. When we first went to a cycle stall, and he liked the cycle, and he tried a red bicycle, and he was riding it inside the arena they have given, and he liked it. He wanted to buy it. I said, okay, we'll do that, and we'll go to the next store and see what they have. In the next store, they have cars, lot baby cars, and he drove that. He said, yes, he wants that. And then we said we'll look at the next store. Had a remote control aeroplane going around like that. Oh, he loved it so much. So we went on seeing other each shops, and then we said we'll come back. Let us look whatever else is there. And we went to the entire exhibition. I bought him some peanuts, and we were munching it, and we saw a stake, and I found a thread. I tied the one end of the thread to the stake and the other end to a stone, and I was waving it. He wanted it. I ran and ran, and he was chasing me, and we went out of the exhibition arena area, and then I gave it to him. He was playing with it. We didn't buy the car, we didn't buy the motorcycle, we didn't buy the vertical cycle, and nothing at all. We were just happy with that. All that I'm coming to say is we love so many things. We want this, we want that, and their wants are unending. It never ends with one thing or the other. And after we have it, we get bored with that for some within short time, and we look at what other people have, and then we try to long for that. All this is because we think these things will give you happiness. The happiness that comes from things is temporary. It's not happiness, it's a pleasure. The pleasure that comes from eating different foods, having all kinds of enjoyments in life, all these things are temporary. That lasting experience of joy, the lasting experience of bliss comes from the knowledge of the truth. What is the truth of this life? This body is temporary. During this time, with this body and this mind, this intellect, mind, intellect, and ego. Mind and intellect has to devote itself to make the body work for the helping others. When you take up projects to help others, the purpose of life is completed. And without selfish interest, with the interest of helping others, when you engage yourself, then personal ego goes on reducing. And in that process of helping others, we have to make an objective that whatever we do for others should be good for us also. Supposing we ask people to eat all kinds of food, Annadanam, people give food to so many people, but the kind of food that they serve is not healthy. If you do that, you are doing a disservice. You're not doing a service. So you have to choose foods that will be good for you and then good for others. Why do we say don't take drugs, don't take medicine, don't take alcohol, don't smoke? When we say so many don'ts, we people don't like us. Take this, take that, take that. When you give that, they want to choose. Even if you give raw vegetable salad, they want to add some salt and pepper and lime. They want to make it tasty. It is tasty by itself, but because they are not hungry, they want to make it tasty. All these examples show that we are in the level of the body. We are in the level of mind. We don't know when we need this food. Need comes from hunger, real hunger. When there is real hunger, plain, simple cucumber without any salt, nothing at all, it will be very tasty. Things become good or bad depending upon the need in the body, need in the mind. The need in the mind is higher than the material things. The need in the mind is to seek to the higher level of and sources, resources. What are the higher level of resources? Whenever there is trouble in the mind, we seek the help of the elder brother, namely the intellect. With the intellect, there are so many people who are very, very intelligent and they have shown success in their life. So so many people praise them and they like people praising them and all their uh, what do you call richness which they earned through getting a very good job, doing good business, making a lot of money, and all that. With that, they give charity when other organizations come and seek their help. They give charity, but they want to make sure that their name is publicized. That this person donated this much money. I donated more money than the other person. He is so proud. His name has got to come in the list of donors and it has to be displayed. Those things destroy the purpose of donation. This is called ego. I did it. I did it. I am the great. I am the big man. That ego sense destroys the purpose of your service. When we serve others, when we help others, and when we are attached to our name to be popular, then we destroy the purpose. How can we not do it? There were people who did it who, without anybody knowing. Within your own house, you can start helping the other members of your family without their knowing that you did their job. Quietly do something good for the other person and leave from that premises. Don't expect any thanks. Don't expect them to come and thank you that you did this for me. Don't let them say it. Without their knowing when you do it, there is a sense of pleasure or happiness that comes without selfishness. The opportunity that God has given us to serve others, to help others, is alone great. To put down the other person, if somebody else is speaking wrong things, to put down the other person, don't make any effort. That is the level that person has reached. That's all you have to worry about. There is a time when that same person will reach a higher level. All that we have to show is love and appreciation. That's all we have to do. There are so many such small examples. Egoless state comes to you. It doesn't have to come to you. It is already there. We have to realize that this stage is also there. And in the process, there are obstacles. What are the obstacles? The ego itself poses some questions. Wow, what is this? This person is saying this. You will lose everything that you have. You got so many beautiful shirts. You have got a beautiful family. You have got a beautiful house. You will lose everything and you will go recluse like a Swami or something. Who wants it? Somebody will throw stones on you. Nobody may give you prasadam or food, and you will be stuck with nothing to eat. All problems will come. What is this? What is this? Who has seen this state? Who has seen God? Who has seen reality? It's all not true. So all these questions and oppositions come to you when ego itself doesn't want to give itself away. All those people who still enjoy the pleasures in life, they ask questions and questions and questions. Oh, how is this possible? Have you seen it? Have you got it? All that questions come because we don't want to come to that stage. You have to want to come to that stage, that even the want to come to that stage has got to be so strong that I want should go away. Who am I should be the question. Who is this who wants this? Who is this who wants this? That there is a state of our life when we completely go to the egoless state every day. And I suppose you all know it. That is when we go to a deep sleep. We are not in this body. We don't have any thoughts. We are just lying there, completely sleeping deeply. And during that time, who is doing all the work in the body? Digestion, elimination, converting the food into the or all different enzymes, and converting food into the flesh, into bones, into nerves, and all kinds of things. Changes happen all the time. It's not the same body with which we were born. Your heart has been transplanted so many times. All these changes are happening in the body even when you are in deep sleep. But in your deep sleep, you are not dead. That is the state of egoless. Each of you experience that for some time in the day. Deep sleep. And in the state of dreaming, in the state of waking, we are associated with the worldly materials. Can world give you happiness? All this that it can give you is pleasures. Pleasures cost. Whatever pleasures we are engaging ourselves into, they cost. What do they cost? They have cost your life. They have cost so much that you have to pay double. Supposing you are engaging in smoking or drinking alcohol, it costs your health. If you are eating unhealthy food, if you are overeating, if you are taking more things, when we collected more and more gifts and more clothing, things, there is no space in the house to keep those things. We have to come to a stage we have to give away old things. I know I have a brother-in-law from a very young age. He will not keep more than 7 pairs of sets of dress. If there is more, he will give it away. When there is something new comes in, he has to dispose old. He had that discipline. I was appreciating how is he able to give away good clothes also, whatever. He doesn't want to deal with more clothes. He doesn't want to deal with more things. In that kind of a maturity of thought comes at a certain age. Early age is a great blessing. But he did it only about his clothing. I don't know about other things. But each of us should focus our thoughts on these things. Wants. There are requirements for leading your life, basic requirements. That comes to you. The person who is egoless, like Ramana Maharshi, when he was a small boy, his interest from the worldly affairs went away. He did not have any interest in worldly affairs or things because his mind constantly was questioning him. Who is this God? Who is this uh, person that I am? Well, what am I? When I was sleeping, I was not there. When I was, what happens to me after I die? After this body dies, where I go? All those questions was coming up in his mind, and he was perturbed. He was curious about this, and then somebody mentioned Tiruvannamalai and the great temple that's near a hill, all those things. That thought was also lodged and registered in some corner of his mind. And a time came when he tried to see what is death. And he lied down and imagined that he is dead. And for some time, he could go to the state of deep sleep or absolutely unconscious about his body. That state he went, and he saw there is something truth in it. And one day he left the household and went to Tiruvannamalai. And there from his heart, so much emotion came, and he shed tears in front of the idol of God in the Arunachaleshwara temple. Arunachala means the sun god. So Aruna is sun, and Achala is the hill. Lord Shiva is called Arunachala. And he was so overjoyed, and then he cast away his clothes, and he had just the undergarment, and he went to a cave in the hill and started meditating. And as he was meditating, he was not caring for his to search for food, other things, but people somehow were drawn to him, and they gave him food, and he continued his meditation. And when he got the stage of realization, that was some joy that was uncomparable to any joy of the world. So he remained in that state. Once you go to that state, you never come back. There's not there. Some, like a friend of mine used to tell me, "Oh, I've been there, done that. I know what is that state." All that he said. There is no such thing. If you really got the egoless state, you stay there. And if you have not realized it, we go to that stage every day like in deep sleep, but we don't want to hold on to that state. So we come back. All of us have to understand the values of egoless state, because that is the truth state. All the doubts and questions and oppositions come to you because you don't want to go to that egoless state. That's all right. Let the time come. How long should I meditate? When will I get egoless state? How much time should I take? All those questions are unnecessary. One may meditate for years and still not go to the egoless state, and one may get it right away in one go, or we cannot say that. I used to narrate a story about two persons, two friends who went to a katha, attended a lecture, discourse, spiritual discourse, and in the discourse they said mukti is uh, salvation from life. You can get two ways. One is by doing tapasya, another is being in the household and carrying on your responsibility to help others, everybody in the family and in society, and following the dharma, the righteousness of living. That's the one way, or that's another way of going to get the salvation. So those two friends were talking on the way back. One friend, what about the first idea? Can we go? You and I, let's go to that Hardwar. Beyond Hardwar, we saw a place, good place for meditation under that tree. Can we go there and do the meditation? Give up all these things. Well, we have to buy things. We have to clean up the house. We have to do this work, that work. All kinds of botherations of this world. We should leave everything and do meditation. How about tomorrow? Let's go. He says, I have responsibilities. In 1.5 years, my son will graduate and I will be retiring, and he can get my job. And then my daughter has coming to my marriageable age. I have to get her married, and I'll get some provident fund from retirement. I have to build a house, and so that when I go to meditate or do tapasya, my family will be comfortable. So let me do that. I think in 1.5 years I will be done with all that. Never, it never ends. When one want comes, another want will come. You will keep on with this. You'll never come. I am going tomorrow. Then he took his kamandala and all kinds of things for him to go and meditate. And he found that one spot and started meditating. 1.5 years later, this friend finished all his responsibility and came there and met. Both friends met, Each one took a tree under which they sat and meditated. Another 2 months passed, and Narada came that way. And the first one went and asked Narada, I've been meditating for so long. How much have I progressed? How much more do I have to do to get salvation so that I can get all my wants fulfilled? He says, oh, you look at that tree with small, small leaves. In that tree, you have finished one leaf already. Oh, just one leaf? I have to finish all the rest of the leaves? What? I've been meditating day and night in the hall 1.5 years, and you're saying I have to finish only. I've finished only one leaf. Here is a Kamandala. Here is a Rudraksha. I don't want anything. I missed my card games. I missed my wife's excellent cooking. I missed all those pleasures in life, and I'm doing meditation. You say I have done only one leaf. This is horrible. I'm going, and he just left. Went going to go back to his household. The other friend was meditating. He saluted Narada. He says, I don't want to know anything. I'm just meditating. He said, but the happy news is that you have finished all this entire tree. You have finished, and you got salvation. He was amazed. How is it? Because the concentration with which he had nothing to worry. He didn't have to get employment for his son. He didn't have to do marriage for his daughter. He had the house built, and he gave them all comfort, and he left all the worries and cares of the world, and he was fully devoted to Narayana, and he was worshipping and meditating with full concentration. That's all he needed. Total surrender. And then he was not himself. He was just merged with the thought of Narayana. That's all he got the salvation. That's how, if we try with full devotion that we want to go to this egoless stage, even that we don't have to have a want. We don't have to have what you call the fire of want. We just have to surrender and try. And certain persons are blessed, and you may get it very quickly, and some people may not get quickly. Doesn't matter. But the need is that we have to sit and relax and meditate so that we will give ourselves the opportunity. Even when you are doing work, we can do the work, focus on the quality of the work. Whenever you do any talks, or you are doing gardening, or you're stitching or painting or singing, look for the perfection on the job. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is communion with God. God is perfection personified. When you try to do your job even better and still better, you are getting to perfection. When you reach towards perfection, it gives you the joy of performing, and that alone is the realization. You don't have to wait, you don't have to question, you don't have to worry. That's all. So I conclude this introductory talk, and Dr. Tulika will tell you about a series of classes that we are going to be doing it under the banner of Well Cure and IMANAH. IMANAH and Well Cure will together present you a few lectures about which Dr. Tulika will tell you. Namaste.
Hello, everyone.
If you have any questions, you can also ask questions.
So you can put your questions on the chat box, or if you want to speak, you can just raise your hands and I can call upon your names. Meanwhile, I can just let you know about the program that we are starting from the next weekend. That is from 20th of this month. So 20th of this month, we are starting this program, and it will have 6 sessions. The first session is the free session for everybody. It will have the introduction to Mahayoga, and then subsequently we'll be having 5 more sessions, which are paid sessions, and where we'll be having uh, following lectures. So I can just read out what all things that you'll be listening on those in this course. First day you will be listening to the introduction to Mahayoga, and second, which will be the free session. And second day, you will be understanding two topics. First is what is real happiness, and secondly, ignorance. Third day, you will be listening to authority as first topic and the world as the second topic. Fourth day will be the theme on the soul and God. Fifth day is the egoless state in more descriptive way, as it today was just a glimpse of it, or just a general idea about it. You will be getting the detailed egoless state description on that day, and on that same day you will understand what is the quest. Last day you will be understanding the sage and devotion. So each day there will be two topics that will be covered, and there will be question answers round, and this is the course being offered by Wellcure. So there is some offer going on the occasion of Independence Day, so you can avail that offer. We'll be sharing you with the um, uh, with the with the details right here in the group, and if you want to register, you can register yourself. So this course will be on Friday and Saturday. So so we'll be telling you all the details in that pamphlet. If you have any questions, you can ask now, or if you have any questions, please ask the questions. So this is 6 days session, so it will be for 3 weekends. Friday, Saturday, weekend program it is. Okay, so Muhammad Abdul Naeem, Guruji? Guruji, can you unmute yourself?
Is it all right?
Yes, Guruji. So there is one question from Muhammad Abdul Naeem.
Yes.
He's writing, what gives ego a long lease of life? Despite knowing the consequences, we continue to pamper it. Why is that so? Just a second, Guruji. Just a second. Why is that so? The very act of getting rid it solidifies it. All techniques fail ultimately. Any idea why?
Read the first part of the question again.
So he's saying, what gives ego a long lease of life? Despite knowing the consequences, we continue to pamper it. Why is that so? And the very
The,
act of getting rid of it solidifies it further. All techniques fail ultimately. Why?
the one answer is ignorance. Ignorance is that we believe that happiness can come from the worldly materials. To give up the attachment is what egoless state comes to. If you are attached to the worldly things, worldly affairs, worldly materials, then we will never come to an egoless state. Attachment can go when we are not attached to anything that we possess, our not even our things, not our name, not our image, personality. We are not If we are not attached to them, then we come to egoless state. It is not something you try and get it. It is something which comes to you automatically. All that you have to try in your life is discipline. If you lead a disciplined life, then you will come to a state where all these meanings will become meaningless. Meanings that we attach to the world and world things will become meaningless at one stage by itself. We have to focus on perfection of performance. Whatever we do, we have to do it more perfectly. Graceful walk and ample exercise, adequate rest, all those rules, guidelines for health, and focus on the performance of your work. Whatever you're doing, do it in a better manner, and you will have the comfort that you are doing your work properly, and then you will automatically come to an egoless state. And it is not something which you have to try to get to egoless state. but it has to leave it, let alone. Let it let it take its own course. The misery, the suffering, the sorrow that comes to you should not also be attached to yourself. I am suffering because I think this is going wrong. I am suffering because I lost this. I am suffering because somebody is criticizing me. So I am suffering because somebody is angry with me. All those things, emotions, will be meaningless in an egoless state. If you give meaning to it, you can never come to an egoless state. If you don't give meaning to it, keep smiling at everything, correct yourself, keep correcting yourself. That's all there is to it.
Guruji, what a wonderful insight. Thank you. So, another question by Shri, that while doing pranayama, when we do in between meditations, it's difficult. Uh, it's difficult to find thoughtless stage. Any suggestions?
Difficulty term itself describes that you are making an effort for it and you are not satisfied with the result of it. So when you take away the effort to reach that stage, to let go, let it easy. And if you come to a stage of letting it easy, then you will automatically reach. It's not something you get by effort, it's just by letting it go. It has to come automatically with feeling comfortable wherever you are. It's like a contradicting one's own statement. You have to try and you have not to try.
Yeah. So, another question by Shanmuga. When I meditate, mind starts to plan, design solutions in detail for problems or projects. As I observe this behavior more, planning starts. How do I go about it?
It's wonderful that your mind is planning. Write down the plan. When you write down the plan, it is released from the mind. And work on the project, work on the planning, and leave it at that. And then more ideas will come, more ideas should be recorded. When you record them, it really gets released from the mind, and in the next time when you meditate, you have to aim on deeper breathing, holding the breath for a longer time. And those efforts, when you take, and your breathing system wants rest. And when you rest, the rest is more complete. And during that time, thoughts will come to a standstill. It's not something which you try for. You try for perfection in breathing. That's all you have to try.
Okay. So, Guruji, I have one question. So, if someone has a ego, okay, so we are attached to things and we display ego to other people or something. So, at that time, we are not concerned with how we are thinking and what we are thinking at that point in time. So, what is the way out in this condition in which we get to know, okay, this is my ego and we should come out of it very soon? So, at that time, our wisdom doesn't work. So, how to handle this kind of a
Write it
mindset?
down that you did this and you will never do it again. It may take a few efforts, and if you write down how you should have been behaving and how you behaved, if you write it down, it will be very good, very helpful to change next time.
Okay. So, any more questions from anyone?
I have a question.
Yes. Yes, Nidhi.
Yeah, Guruji, Pranam. This is Nidhi. Guruji, I want to understand like this enjoying this egoless state, like you said, we all go through it every day in the deep sleep. And we all try, I mean, most of us try to meditate to achieve that or to feel that, experience that. But then the choosing to experience that also goes ups and downs. Like some days we feel like, no, I want to really reach that point where I'm able to experience that egoless state. And some days it would be like, that would also become like a goal. that you don't feel that urge. So why does that urge goes up and down when we understand that that is the real meaning of life? Tabhi you some days you'll feel a lot of urge and the other days you really don't want to get into it. You would,
It's okay to observe all the changes that's happening to you, and if you write down this is what is happening to me, then you will
yeah.
overcome that stage because you are observing your own action, observing your own mind. That's all there is to it. There is nothing more, nothing less. If you observe your own mind's action, if you observe your own physical action, you're not able to do the pranayama, you're not doing it. If you do with deeper interest, if you take inhale a little more air and hold it for a longer time, and if you make those efforts, and then you get tired of doing the deep breathing, and then you come to a relaxation stage, and the relaxation will be more complete. If you didn't do running, your rest will not be complete. If you do ample running, go faster and better exercise, when you relax, relaxation will be more complete. In the same way, breathing exercise will lead you to better meditation. Better breathing, better meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
All right. So, any other question? Yes, Guruji, there is one question. So, Maneet is asking, sometimes we react instantaneously, like anger or impatient. At that point of time, it is difficult to distinguish that I am not angry and it's only a state. How to deal with that so that reaction like anger should not be the immediate reaction?
It is not that I am not angry, I am angry. And why am I angry? Is the anger going to solve the problem? Can I stop my anger? You should not try to stop your anger or stop your emotions. You have to observe them. You have to, if you are able to record them, then we are observing that we did this. Is that right? Is that wrong? That we have to decide by evaluating each action. There are some actions where you have to get stricter. We have to correct your subordinates, you have to correct your students, then you have to be strict. But you don't have to be angry. Anger comes out of ignorance. We think we are better. We think expressing anger shows us superior. All those things will dissolve by understanding. We have to become a better person only by practice. Thank you.
So, okay, so Ramanam Sankar, he's saying thank you to you for your kindness in arranging this, always with gratitude. Sankar.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
So, any one of you wants to ask a question, please ask now.
Guruji, how to achieve this constant smile like you on your face, which is there.
I don't think so.
It is there, sir.
Okay, it's in the beauty is in the beholder's eyes. Thank you. कल तुम्हें चॉकलेट मिलेगा. ऐसे बच्चों को बोलते हैं ना, तुम अच्छा बात कहोगे तो ये मिलेगा. So egoless state is not something we explain and give, but we experience it over many years of practice or even many days of practice. Some people get it right away and it is in them. They are blessed. Thank you.
So any more? So I have posted the program details, so you all can have a look, and we'll be sharing the poster as well on the groups. So any other questions you have, please feel free to ask. Yeah. So one question, Guruji, Sneh is
Yeah.
asking: is mantra meditation powerful like other meditation?
Power is what you grade. You don't have to grade it as powerful or not powerful. It's the involvement. How deeply you are involved makes a difference. If you start evaluating, you will still be evaluating all the time. Get involved, and then you will not be evaluating. There are so many different paths to salvation. In India, they have the so many different, like Advaita and Dvaitavada, and there are so many Vishishtadvaita. Different schools are there. No matter what way you choose, all roads leads to Rome, they say. In the same way, no matter what ways you choose, you will reach this goal. Should you reach, do you want to go to egoless state? That's a question. If you want it, you will get it. And the want has to be so deep and so strong. Why should I want to go to an egoless state? I'm all right as I am. That's good. If you are all right as you are, there is no need to worry about this. That is, at the same time, when you suffer, at that time you should examine, why am I suffering? Is it economical problem or physical problem or physiological problem or it's psychological problem? Then we go to different brackets and see where we fall in. When you go to egoless state, all this doesn't matter at all. There are stories and stories. We can go on and on. We will be describing this in detail in the forthcoming classes.
Guruji, so one question from Sangeeta ji: how we deal with violence when we are working towards an egoless state?
If you are working towards egoless state, you are not working towards egoless state. You don't have to work towards egoless state. And when somebody wrongs you, if you are able to take it coolly, without getting anger, and telling them, looking into their eyes and telling them, I don't take this, don't do this. If your opinion is differing, it's all right. It's okay to differ in opinions, but no one need to physically abuse you. You can tell them and stop them with firm, you are a nice person, you are a good person, I love you, I like you, but don't do this. This action is not good. You have to tell them right away. That's all you can do.
Yes. Guruji, any more questions?
I think they are all in the egoless state, so they have no questions. That's what is the egoless state. No questions. Everything is all right as it is.
Maybe they are so mesmerized with your lecture, Guruji, that they are in that state.
All right. Thank you for all the nice time we had. We'll see you in future lectures.
Yeah. See you everyone soon. So
Where is the announcement of the, where is the
Venu has
display? Do you
just
have a
now,
display of the
yeah,
forthcoming
Venu has just now,
courses?
yeah. So Venu has just now shared the link. All of you can go in that link and register yourself. And I've shared it on the Telegram group also, and we'll be sharing it on the various WhatsApp groups right away. So you can, circulate this among your friends and everywhere. And so it is starting next week only, Friday and Saturday.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 थैंक यू
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much, Guruji.
वेलकम